Hi, I have a lot of stuff I want to cover, and a 4-minute video won't do it. So I'm going to start out with channeled messages. I followed channel messages for a really long time, not because I believed everything they were saying, but because I wanted to analyze them, and then I wanted to share what I thought about it with other people. I've never been an advocate of the New Age movement, and what it is basically is that they're taking all of these great concepts, these Buddhist teachings, and they're twisting them and contorting them into appealing to the higher ego. It's really the lower ego, I guess you could say, but it's the higher chakras. So instead of ascension spirituality or ascension consciousness, they're really engaging people in unity consciousness. In order to reach ascension consciousness, you have to really let go of your ego completely and go beyond the us against them mentality. You have to release completely from the material realm. And that doesn't mean you don't still participate and live and act within the human body, because you are human. It means that you experience or come to an understanding of non-attachment, which means it is what it is, and then you release it. You do and you release. You engage and release. That catch and release, that's what life is. This mental attachment to things, like to people, to places, to things, that's what causes suffering in the world. That's the Buddhist concept. But you see that most of the people that channel will not talk about true Buddhist principles. They twist it and they inject these concepts of abundance, which is completely opposite of that. I mean, why is abundance so great? Abundance of what? If you have an abundance of food, you'll get fat. If you have an abundance of money, you can still be a miserable person. So it's not abundance that we need, it's balance that we need. And this constant obsession with trying to attract things and to be superhuman and all this is just bullshit they're feeding you to buy into their agenda. And the agenda basically is that, and here's everything in a nutshell, okay? We are ascending spiritually and physically beyond the human condition. And we're doing that because of the sun. The sun has a frequency. Everything is frequency and vibration. The sun is changing. You can see it. I mean, even 30 years ago when I was a kid, the sun did not look like this. It was more yellow. It wasn't as hot. Everything is heating up in the universe. When they talk about climate change, climate always changes. This global warming thing isn't because of humanity, even though humanity is screwing up and polluting the environment and causing a lot of problems. That's not why the earth is heating up. If it were true, then why is Venus brighter? Why is Jupiter brighter? Why are all the stars changing and seemingly becoming brighter and hotter and more intense? This is a phenomenon that is much bigger than humanity just heating up the earth with pollution. And this is something people need to understand, and because there's an agenda behind everything that these controllers do. There's a reason. Even if they say something that's good and important, there's always an ulterior motive behind it. It's never about true liberation. It's always about their agenda, and it's self-serving. So back to the channeled messages, they are helping to serve that agenda. And the reason I say that, and it probably upsets a lot of people, but even though they're saying a lot of good stuff, you have to remember that if you are someone that depends upon money and technology for your happiness, and that's what they're pushing mostly. They're like, well, we're going to give you all this free money, all this gold, and the world's going to become a utopia, and everybody's going to live happily ever after, and you need to climb into this pod because this pod is going to help you ascend. I mean, that's a red flag right there. You don't want to climb into any pod. You don't have to be dependent upon anybody for your well-being. Nature does that for you when you are properly connected to true source, to everything that is, and you are a truly balanced human being. And they've done everything in their power to make sure that we are not balanced. They're blocking out the sun now as it's changing and ascending with their chemtrails, for one thing. They're poisoning our environment. They're poisoning our food. They're poisoning our minds. Everybody that sits in front of a television is being programmed as these messages are pulsating in subliminally. And it's not paranoia. It's just that's human nature to want to control. And so you have the most extreme control freaks that are out there joining forces because the ultimate goal is to control everyone and everything. That's all I have time for right now, but I'll continue on the next video. Thanks for listening.